Letter 8. To Thomas Pennant, Esquire. On the verge of the forest, as it is now circumscribed, are 3 considerable lakes, 2 in Oakhanger, of which I have nothing particular to say, and one called Binns, or Bean's Pond, which is worthy the attention of a naturalist or a sportsman. For, being crowded at the upper end with willows, and with the Carex cespitosa, it affords such a safe and pleasing shelter to wild ducks, teals, snipes, etc., that they breed there. In the winter this covert is also frequented by foxes, and sometimes by pheasants, and the bogs produce many curious plants, for which consult letter 41 to Mr. Barrington. Footnote: I mean that sort which, rising into tall hassocks, is called by the foresters torrents, a corruption, I suppose, of turrets. Note, in the beginning of the summer 1787, the royal forests of Wolmer and Holt were measured by persons set down by government. End footnote. By a perambulation of Wolmer Forest and the Holt, made in 1635, and in the 11th year of Charles I, which now lies before me, it appears that the limits of the former are much circumscribed, for, to say nothing on the farther side, with which I am not so well acquainted, the bounds on this side, in old times, came into Binswood, and extended to the ditch of Ward Laham Park, in which stands the curious mount called King John's Hill and Lodge Hill, and to the verge of Hartley Modeet, called Modeet Hatch, comprehending also Shortheath, Oakhanger, and Oakwoods, a large district, now private property, though once belonging to the royal domain. It is remarkable that the term purlieu is never once mentioned in this long roll of parchment. It contains, besides the perambulation, a rough estimate of the value of the timbers, which were considerable, growing at that time in the district of the Halt, and enumerates the officers, superior and inferior, of those joint forests, for the time being, and their ostensible fees and perquisites. In those days, as at present, there were hardly any trees in Wolmer Forest. Within the present limits of the forest are 3 considerable lakes, Hogmer, Cranmer, and Wolmer, all of which are stocked with carp, tench, eels, and perch. But the fish do not thrive well, because the water is hungry, and the bottoms are a naked sand. A circumstance respecting these ponds, though by no means peculiar to them, I cannot pass over in silence, and that is, that instinct by which in summer all the kine, whether oxen, cows, calves, or heifers, retire constantly to the water during the hotter hours, where, being more exempt from flies, and inhaling the coolness of that element, some belly deep, and some only to mid-leg, they ruminate and solace themselves from about 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, and then return to their feeding. During this great proportion of the day they drop much dung, in which insects nestle, and so supply food for the fish, which would be poorly subsisted but from this contingency. Thus nature, who is a great economist, converts the recreation of one animal to the support of another. Thomson, who was a nice observer of natural occurrences, did not let this pleasing circumstance escape him. He says, in his Summer, "A various group the herds and flocks compose, on the grassy bank, some ruminating lie, while others stand, half in the flood, and often bending sip the circling surface." Wolmer Pond, so called, I suppose, for eminence sake, is a vast lake for this part of the world, containing, in its whole circumference, 2,646 yards, or very near a mile and a half. The length of the northwest and opposite side is about 704 yards, and the breadth of the southwest end about 456 yards. This measurement, which I caused to be made with good exactness, gives an area of about 66 acres, exclusive of a large irregular arm at the northeast corner, which we did not take into the reckoning. On the face of this expanse of waters, and perfectly secure from fowlers, lie all day long in the winter season vast flocks of ducks, teals, and widgeons, of various denominations, where they preen and solace, and rest themselves till towards sunset, when they issue forth in little parties, for in their natural state they are all birds of the night, to feed in the brooks and meadows, returning again with the dawn of the morning. Had this lake an arm or two more, and were it planted round with thick covert, for now it is perfectly naked, it might make a valuable decoy. Yet neither its extent, nor the clearness of its water, nor the resort of various and curious fowls, nor its picturesque groups of cattle, can render this mere so remarkable as the great quantity of coins that were found in its bed about 40 years ago. But as such discoveries more properly belong to the antiquities of this place, I shall suppress all particulars for the present, till I enter professedly on my series of letters respecting the more remote history of this village and district.